the morning wrap up. Ba, 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 ba. Sorry, I had to do that twice. Camera was facing the wrong way. I'm still working off this, it's always a 2-day hangover when you're my age. Body doesn't recover as quickly from things like the boys' night sleepover, and unfortunately it also doesn't recover quickly from things like Achilles tendon injuries, and pretty terrible news for Jets fans. And really, no one should be celebrating this, as the news comes out today that Aaron Rodgers' season with the New York Jets and maybe career ended 4 snaps in, because he's about to have to go through some pretty extensive rehab if he ever wants to play again. And there's no guarantee at his age that he comes back and is able to be the Aaron Rodgers of old. But no one should be celebrating it. I know I'm a Giants fan who likes to mock the Jets at times for things, but devastating injuries aren't one of them. I've never been a fan of Aaron Rodgers, the player or person, really, but that doesn't mean you root for stuff like that. And certainly on 9/11, which I didn't talk about yesterday in my very brief morning wrap-up. One, because like I said, I wasn't sticking around for the comments from Cowboys fans. For two, as someone who vividly remembers that day, and I'm not going to go through my story again like I've done every 9/11 on morning wrap-up since I started doing them. That's nice. I got like freaking potato chip in my hair or something. If you're old enough and you're in this area, you remember it vividly. And some people, not that they want to forget, the whole mantra is never forget. But they don't need to have it shoved in their face all day. And I'm not saying you're wrong if you post tributes and things like that, but some people would rather, I know for a fact there's some people who just are looking for escapes that day. So that's why you didn't see anything on SDS, and that's why I really didn't bring it up much on the morning wrap-up. It's a day, if you're not old enough to vividly remember, it's a day for most of us that will be the scariest and one of the saddest day of our lives, and that's I'm certain that it's much like other awful events that have happened through history, and as time goes on, people just forget, or because that generation has passed, or there's more generations now of people who weren't alive. It's not maybe thought of the same way, but for those of us that were old enough, I don't think we need the reminder and total recall of the events and the day that was, because we will never forget them. So last night, when Rodgers comes out running with the American flag, and I'm sure for Jets fans and a lot of people, it was a nice way, they thought, to escape, the day and the history of the day. And unfortunately for Rodgers, fortunately for the Jets, they pulled out a heck of a win. You gotta give them a lot of credit. They showed a lot of character, but unfortunately for the Jets' Super Bowl hopes this year, they seem to have taken a big hit with what happened. So, and if you're not a sports fan, I'm sorry. I don't like doing a lot of sports morning wrap-ups now, because I know a lot of you out there just don't care or aren't big into them. But for a lot of people who are, sports is an escape and an outlet. And again, that was something yesterday that a lot of people, I'm sure, were looking forward to as a bright spot in an otherwise dark day. And unfortunately for them, that happened literally right at the beginning of the game. But you know what? Never say never in today's day and age. If he decides he wants to come back, I'm sure, he'll have the best doctors and rehab facilities at his disposal, and he's got himself in great shape. And despite his age, he's one of the all-time great players. So I wouldn't count him out. That's for sure. But for both teams now, as week one is officially over, for both New York teams, it's not the way you wanted to start the year, but that's the beauty of week one, is you got 16 more games to go. So we'll see what can happen. Anything can happen, and we'll stay positive, and that's all you can do in this crazy world. And this is SDS.